Watch what happens when your dog flops onto their back and shows you their soft, exposed belly. We read it as the simplest thing in the world. They want a belly rub, and often they do. But underneath that everyday moment is something genuinely strange, a small paradox most people walk right past. Because the belly is the single most vulnerable part of your dog's entire body. It's where all the vital organs sit, unprotected, no fur, no muscle, no defense. In the wild, exposing it is the last thing a frightened animal would ever do. And yet your dog does it in front of you, casually, all the time. So here's the question that makes this so much more interesting than rub my tummy. Why would an animal hardwired to protect its most fragile spot choose to flip over and offer it up to you on purpose? The answer isn't a single thing, and they want a belly rub turns out to be only the surface. The full picture is a small masterclass in reading your dog, because the very same rolled-over pose can mean three completely different things, and getting it wrong is one of the most common mistakes dog owners make. Stay with me, because by the end you'll be able to read which of the three your dog is actually showing you. And one of them is the opposite of what most people assume. Let's clear away the lazy explanation first, the one nearly everyone defaults to. My dog shows their belly, so they always want it rubbed. This sounds harmless, but it leads owners astray constantly, because it treats one pose as if it has one fixed meaning, and the belly roll absolutely does not. It's not a single message. It's a word that changes meaning, entirely depending on context, the rest of the body, and the situation it happens in. To see why the simple version fails, think about all the different moments you've seen this pose. The happy flop on the sofa next to you. The dog at the park rolling over the instant a bigger dog approaches. The puppy flipping over while another dog sniffs them. These are not the same emotional event, even though the body shape looks similar. One is pure contentment. One is a careful social signal. And one can even be a sign of stress. So instead of asking, do they want a belly rub? Let's do what a good detective does. Gather the clues around each rollover and figure out which of the three things is actually happening. Let's take them one at a time. Here's the first and most beautiful meaning, and it's the one that lives up to the paradox in the hook. When your dog rolls over near you, relaxed, loose, maybe wriggling happily, in a calm, safe moment at home, this is the real thing. This is total trust. Remember, the belly is the body's most vulnerable point. For an animal to deliberately expose it, fully relaxed, in your presence, they have to feel completely safe. They have to have decided, on some deep level, that you are not a threat, that this is a place where nothing bad will happen. Read the body and you'll know it's this one. The muscles are loose and floppy. The mouth is often soft or slightly open. The tail might be doing a lazy wag against the floor. The whole posture is relaxed, almost gravity-defying, legs splayed in the air without a care. This is a dog saying, in the clearest body language they have, I trust you completely. I feel safe enough to let my guard all the way down. It's one of the highest compliments a dog can pay you. They're not just asking for a rub. They're showing you that around you, they don't need their defenses at all. And yes, very often, in this relaxed and trusting state, they would also love a gentle belly rub. The rub is real. It's just the second half of the story, not the whole thing. Now the second meaning, and this is where most people's understanding falls apart, because it can look almost identical to the first if you're not paying attention. Dogs also roll onto their backs as a deliberate social signal to other dogs, and sometimes to people. In the language of dogs, exposing the belly can be a way of saying, "I'm not a threat. I'm no danger to you. Let's keep the peace." Behavior researchers often call this an appeasement signal, a gesture that diffuses tension and communicates harmlessness. You'll see this most clearly between dogs. A smaller or younger dog meeting a bigger one may roll over, not because they want a belly rub from a stranger, obviously, but because they're sending a clear social message of, "I come in peace." Interestingly, research on play has found that dogs also roll onto their backs during rough and tumble play, sometimes as a playful move to invite more play or reposition, not always pure submission. So this second category is really about communication, a dog using their body to manage a social moment. And here's why it matters so much for you. If you misread an appeasement roll as "yay belly rubs" and dive straight in with both hands, you can completely misjudge what the dog was actually telling you. The pose looks similar. The meaning is worlds apart. Which brings us to the third one, the one you most need to recognize. The third meaning is the most important to get right, because misreading it can actually upset your dog. Sometimes a dog rolls onto their back not out of trust, and not as a casual peace signal, but because they're anxious, overwhelmed, or trying to cope with a situation that's stressing them out. This is appeasement under pressure. A dog showing their belly because they feel they need to diffuse a threat, not because they feel safe and happy. So how do you tell this apart from the joyful trust roll when the basic pose can look so similar? You read the rest of the body, and once you know what to look for, the difference is obvious. The stressed belly-up dog is not loose and floppy. They're tense. The body is stiff rather than relaxed. The tail is tucked or clamped, not lazily wagging. You might see a closed, tight mouth, or the opposite, lots of nervous lip-licking and yawning. Look at the eyes, often wide, sometimes showing the whites in a half-moon shape, what people call whale eye. And crucially, look at the context. Is this a calm cuddle at home, or a tense, scary, overwhelming situation? The vet, a looming stranger, a dog they're frightened of. Here's something you can do right now, the next time your dog rolls over. Take 1 second and scan the whole body before you reach out. Loose, soft, wagging at home? That's trust, enjoy it. Stiff, tucked, wide-eyed in a tense moment? That dog isn't asking for a rub. They're asking for the pressure to stop. The kindest thing you can do is give them space, not hands. Step back and notice what's really going on here, because it's the key to this whole channel. A single physical action, rolling over and showing the belly, carries 3 completely different messages: deep trust, a social peace signal, and stress-driven appeasement. The pose is nearly the same in all 3. What changes everything is the context and the rest of the body. The belly roll is a perfect example of why you can never read a dog by one body part alone. This is the master skill, and the belly is the ideal place to practice it. The rollover is the headline. The loose or stiff muscles, the wag or the tucked tail, the soft or tight mouth, the calm or tense situation, those are the fine print that tell you what the headline actually means. Most people read only the headline, "Belly must want a rub," and stop there. You're now reading the fine print. And that single habit, glancing at the whole dog and the whole situation instead of one pose, is what separates someone who reacts to their dog from someone who genuinely understands them. The same rolled-over body in 2 different moments is 2 entirely different sentences. You can read both now. So let's make this practical, because understanding the 3 meanings changes what you should actually do in the moment. When it's the relaxed, happy, trusting belly, At home, loose and wriggly, by all means enjoy it. This is your dog inviting closeness, and a gentle belly rub is often very welcome. Watch their response as you do it. If they stay loose and lean in, they're loving it. If they tense up or move away, they've had enough, and listening to that keeps the trust intact. When it's the social peace signal, especially between dogs, the best thing is usually to let it play out naturally and not interfere. The dogs are managing their own conversation. And when it's the stress roll, the tense, tucked, wide-eyed one in a difficult moment, the response is the most important of all. Do not reach in for a belly rub. That dog is already overwhelmed, and looming over them with grabbing hands only adds to the pressure. Instead, ease the situation. Give them room. Remove whatever is stressing them if you can. The greatest gift of learning to read these three is that you stop accidentally doing the wrong thing at the worst moment and start responding to what your dog is actually feeling. That's the whole point of paying attention. Now, the part I asked you to stay for, because as always, reading this behavior well means knowing its edges. The everyday belly rolls, trust, social signaling, even the occasional stress roll in an understandably stressful moment are all completely normal parts of being a dog. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But the theme of this channel, as always, is context and change. And there are a couple of things worth keeping an eye on. The first is really about emotional well-being rather than physical health. If your dog is doing the stressed, appeasing belly roll a lot, frequently, in many everyday situations, that's worth noticing, because it may be telling you they're feeling anxious or insecure more often than they should. And that's a conversation worth having with a trainer or behaviorist who can help them feel more confident. The second is the usual principle of change. If a dog who never used to roll suddenly starts doing it constantly, or if the rolling seems connected to scratching, rubbing, or signs of skin irritation or discomfort rather than emotion, or comes with any other change in how they're acting, then, as with any sudden shift, it's worth a calm mention to your vet just to rule things out. But for the everyday happy flop onto the back beside you, there's nothing to check and everything to enjoy. It's simply one of the clearest signs of trust your dog can give. So the next time your dog flops onto their back and shows you that soft, exposed belly, you won't just see a request for a tummy rub. You'll see the whole picture. You'll glance at the rest of the body in a single second, loose or tense, wagging or tucked, calm or overwhelmed, and you'll know which of the three things your dog is really telling you. You'll know whether to reach in with a gentle hand or step back and give them room. You'll be reading your dog the way most people never learn to, and when it is the real one, the relaxed, happy, trusting flop in a safe, quiet moment at home, take a second to appreciate what you're actually looking at. Out of every instinct in their body telling them to protect that vulnerable spot, your dog has overridden all of it. For you, they've decided you are safe. They've decided that next to you, they don't need their guard up at all. That's not a small thing dressed up as a belly rub. That's one of the deepest forms of trust a dog has, offered to you on the living room floor in the most ordinary moment of the day. If this changed the way you see that rolled over belly, leave a like and subscribe, because every video here is about reading the real meaning behind behaviors we take for granted, built on what the science actually says, and honest about where it's still uncertain. Tell me in the comments, when your dog shows their belly, are they usually loose and happy, or is it more of a polite social roll? And if you've ever wondered why your dog gets the same wild burst of energy at the exact same time every evening, there's a real pattern behind it, and that's the next video.